How you guys doing? Welcome back. Today's lesson 46. Stop torturing yourself. Alright, it's never fun. My hair looks crazy. It's never fun to be trading in a bad market on bad days, and some folks here are just so hard on themselves. I wanted to address this quickly when it comes to being consistent, how not to torture yourself, and some great tips there to do so. So we have 10 amazing tips I've thought about from my members, from me, on what you can do to stop torturing yourself. So we're going to go into this list, talk about each one in depth, and then we're going to go into lesson 47, which is going to be the importance of a relationship with a stock. As you'll find out with that next lesson, when you trade a stock 4, 5, 6 times, you start to really build up a relationship with it, and that in itself is an absolute treat to have. But that being said, for today, 10 great tips on how to stop torturing yourself. Let's get into it. So firstly, this may be the most shocking one, is focus on what you can control. As a stock trader, it's so hard sometimes to be like, well, I'm stressed about the macro markets, I'm stressed about the sector, I'm stressed about what the government's going to do, but guess what? You can't control that. All right, we've talked about this in abundance, but in case you forgot, it's like being a surfer, which is my favorite analogy that I came up with. I'm a goat for it. Is that you go out to the beach to go surfing, right? You hop in the water, and all day there may be one good wave, maybe two, and some days there's gonna be zero. That's okay. For a whole week, there could be zero great waves, right? All you can do is be there, be present, stick to your rules. I don't know what kind of rules servers have. Maybe like, I don't know, punch sharks in the face and like rip it. I don't know. But like while you're waiting for these waves to come, or I guess in this case, good market conditions, you can only control what you can control. What can you control as a trader? Well, 1's your mindset, 2 is your time involved, time horizon, 3 can be your goals, 4 is your risk, 5 is your priorities, and 6 can be a whole bunch more great stuff. And I can sit here and mansplain and talk you into oblivion. You know what you can control. Focus on that. Is that easier said than done? Well, absolutely, right? Anyone can say, well, stop worrying. What's important to know is that you're going to go absolutely nowhere, get better, if you keep focusing on what you can control. If you can control your emotions, hitting the buy sell button, that's all you need. If you can control your appropriate responses to some market conditions, focus on that. That's the first way to really stop torturing yourself, in my opinion. The second is that days off are healthy. I recently made a post about this. A lot of folks responded positively to it. You have to take some days off, right? There's going to be some days where you're like, the markets are trash, the indexes are trash. I myself feel like garbage. It's time to take a few days off. Walking away is extremely healthy. How many days as an employee have you been? I mean, I used to serve. When I was serving, I'd be like, man, I wish I could just sit down and rest my feet, man. A lot. And I would have done a much better job if I was given the 20, 30 minutes just to relax before getting back to work. This is not an employee mindset. This is not a job. It's a whole different animal. And taking days off is extremely healthy. And if anything, it should be encouraged and positive in this kind of environment. Especially in my community, it is. This may be shocking to a few of you, but your family, your kids, your significant other, the ones that you love, your parents, whatever it is, seeing them, enjoying them is really important. I myself, and I hope you would understand this too, I would never put trading in front of, or in my business in front of my fiance's birthday, family holidays, friends, kids, like, baptisms, whatever it is, right? There's some things that mean more. I would definitely rather get my Halloween costume together than trade on Halloween myself. Going out and playing with your kids, going out just for a walk is really healthy in this kind of environment that's super high stress, super high capital rating, or super high capital stressors. I mean, it makes sense to go take a walk and hang out with your family. This may also be shocking. The markets will be there tomorrow. The trades you want to make will be there tomorrow. It may be a different ticker. It may cost a different amount. They will be there tomorrow. Focus on that tomorrow. There's always more trades to be had. No point forcing them today, especially if they're not there. I once heard a super dope analogy one time that there's amateur athletes and pro athletes. The main difference in work ethic is this. The amateur athlete would rather do 10 reps, fully exhaust themselves, 5 days a week, and then rest 2, getting a total of 50 reps in. The professional would rather just do 20 reps 3 times a week and get more reps in with more rest days. Resting your body after a workout, resting your body after vacation, mentally, emotionally, physically, is always the number one compared to going harder. Sometimes working smarter, doing less hours is actually the better thing. You'll find out when you own a business, or if you are like me in a business, when I'm also still an employee, your laziest worker is probably your smartest worker, right? They find a way to get the job done quicker and easier, and hey, the job's done, who cares? So it's sometimes taking time off is critical. I want to make sure that's clear. The third thing you can do to stop torturing yourself is focus your education instead of trading. Hey, look it, you're here. That's great. That means that you're actually yourself doing that same exact thing. You're focusing your education. We've talked about before, I harp on it. If you get 1% better every single day, you get around 37 times better with compound interest on your own education. There's going to be some days, there's going to be some weeks, some months. January and December of 2021 to 2022, the best trade was none. Just sitting there learning was way better than the mayhem that ensued. That whole time, reading books by like Mark Douglas or like whoever it may be, doesn't matter, I like him a lot. That's way better to me than trading. Learning a new indicator and how it works is way more important to me than trading on bad days. So prioritizing, which we talked about in the first point, prioritizing your education instead of trading will sometimes get rid of the horrible market conditions, insulate you with your structure, insulate you from these bad conditions that give you negativity. Instead, it's all a net positive. Hey, markets were down, but I'm at 0.00% changed, and I learned this new dope indicator. It's gonna help me out. That in itself is fantastic, and I would definitely focus that if I were you. The fourth thing you can do is focus indexes and sectors. We had a whole 2 lessons on this, but I love to mention it. When the markets get terrible or choppy, trading sectors or indexes, again, I would focus 4 indexes and 11 sectors. Focusing those insulate risk. Most indexes will move 2-3% a day. On a terrible day, like 5 or 6 if they're really bad, and they're really green, 4 or 5 for sure. But focusing that in itself is fantastic because the S&P on a bad day is like negative 2%. And that's the case, it's not bad. You know, negative 2% on a trade is like not the worst thing of all time. And again, insulating yourself from risk in bad market conditions is really great. On top of that, you only got 15 things to focus on. You only have, if this is the right, the camera does get kind of goofy, maybe 51 or 15, but I'm trying to put 15 up here, so I'll just do that. 15 trades, right? You only have 15 different sectors and indexes to look at. 15 tickers is it. You got a lot of time to focus those 15. There's not like a bunch of runners for the day, bunch of turbulation. If things get rough, if you get stressed, trading indexes and sectors is a great thing to fall back on. It helps you recalibrate, get the macro market centered, lose less, make less, but again, in bad market conditions, you'll take that. Fifth thing we can talk about is cash being a position. For a lot of day traders, they get this, right? For a lot of swing traders, it can get kind of rough. For new folks, they don't understand. Having money sitting in your brokerage account doing nothing is sometimes much better than it going out there and losing. So in bad market conditions, it's super important to note that having money set aside, sitting on your hands literally, is sometimes a great thing to do. For example, January 2022 was down 10% on the S&P. I was fully cashed the whole time. I'm now technically beating the S&P by 10%, and I did nothing. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do. Small reminder with this one, and I talked about it with a client a little bit ago. Not every month's going to be the same, right? Some folks assume because they hear like the narrative like, oh, the S&P on average returns 11% every single year. Well, as I also discussed, some months are up, or some years are up 30, up 20, minus 10, up 2, minus 8, up 10. It's not going to be like this. It's not going to be like this, right? Or like this. Sometimes it's going to be like, whoa, right? It's going to be kind of crazy. So not every month's going to be the same, right? They say May, sell, and go away because May, June, July, August are sometimes the worst months. So that compare like November and October, they're completely different. So make sure you curtail your expectations by month and go into the month saying, hey, I want to make 3% this month, but if markets are trash, making 1 or 2 may be absolutely optimal, and that's okay. Sixth thing you didn't realize, I talked about before, you're not going to move the markets by yourself. You may think, I'll revenge trade this and make it pay. The market doesn't have emotions. It's not alive. It's not a thing. It's not like you're going to go in and like beat it up. It's not how that works, right? So as soon as you drop the expectation and drop the idea that you're going to be able to move the markets and you're going to like, oh, I'm going to enter this position, it's all going to change. It's not. You're just along for the ride. Again, the ocean, all the waves, comings and